Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it's Monday, it's July 29th. This will be our chart lesson for today. And again, we just had some sideways action. We did close slightly higher today. We broke higher but couldn't sustain it and closed the lower half of the bar. It's just a kind of a doji type bar. It's got a little bit of a body, but not much. So I'm going to call this a mixed trading range type day. We broke out of the range to the low side momentarily, but closed back inside there before it was open. So we had that late afternoon rally that took back some of the sell-off. So anyway, let's flip over to the 2,000 tick chart and you can take a look at it. And here it is. You can see it's mostly sideways. We had a pretty good sell-off here. I didn't look. I don't think they're quite. I think the second leg's a little more than a measured leg down. Not much, but it is. And then we rallied really strongly. I mean, that's one of those really strong rallies. It looks like a lot of buying came in. And then once that buying dried up, boom, it starts falling again. And then we did trickle up and sell off again. And we didn't do much after that. So it was this rally that kind of relieved some of the selling. But so we could only take about, I'd say 50% of that back. And you can see the kind of the support area seemed to be near the overnight lows and the close from Friday. That's the close from Friday there. That seemed to kind of be the support level. We did get below that momentarily, but it rallied strongly out of there. So we'll see what tomorrow brings. We've relieved a lot of the oversold situation that we had, so we could turn back down again now easily. We'll just have to see what tomorrow brings. But this is a very neutral kind of day, considering we had this really strong buying spree that just couldn't hold. But let's zoom in here. We'll go through the trades, and we'll wrap this day up. 7 o'clock came just as we're just making this turn here and turning back up. There's a hidden second entry there, but not a very good signal bar. This is really your signal bar. This is an inside bar. So just not a real good chance to enter there. And then it just turns straight down. No chance to enter that. Then you get a first entry. Finally, you get a second entry here. That's a really big bar. I went ahead and marked it. It has a 2-bar matching high. It's really a double top there. I think you could, I mean, that's almost red. I think you could justify that being red. Let me zoom in a little more here. I think you could justify that being red, although it doesn't give you much room to the lows. I think there is enough room there. So if you took that trade, you know, it's over 2 points. So if you took that trade, I'm okay with it. It is a second entry. The first one we got in that whole downtrend. We already do have a break and a new low, but as most of you know, we usually get a second leg down or another attempt at one on a trend, you know, that moves that strongly back down. We weren't near the overnight lows yet either. They were on down a little bit. So there was reason to suspect that we may go lower. When we got this lower high here off the double top, that's the better place to enter, in my opinion. It gives you a little better entry price as well, a little more room to the lows, and you see that's where it went, and then it reverses. Now, I didn't mark this one. It's basically a second entry long, but we haven't even broken above the EMA yet, so it's just too early, and we didn't quite reach we didn't fill the gap here from the close from Friday. We didn't test the overnight. I just think it's too early to look for a long. So, but it does take off. Now, you got a second entry long here. I missed that one because I do like that trade. There's a second entry long here. I wouldn't trade that on the engulfing bar. You got to wait till this closes and then go one tick. Go long one tick above that. It is a second entry long. Even if you, I mean, you probably want to draw the original shorter term channel up here too. But even if you draw that, you're still expecting a retest of that high. can see that's the first break, and it's 2 legs back to the EMA. Basically makes a double bottom there too. You get a higher low here, but it doesn't give you a very good signal bar. And so now you got your break, a couple of swings up, back to the midline, and you make a lower high here, way away from the EMA. I like big bearish bar. I like going short there. That's just the first entry, and then it kind of bottoms out down here. Nothing to go long there. There's just no chance to really get long on this. You don't really know that you got a real strong trend here just yet. That looks a little sideways. I don't know if I'd call that congestion. That there is kind of a rather small body there. So, and then by the time you get up here, you're just chopping sideways. You get a break, you never make a new high, and then it just reverses. And there's no setup up here. It's got an equal high, so it doesn't break higher. You can't trade it on the engulfing bar, so when it closes, it doesn't qualify. Just a first entry here in congestion. Same thing here, first entry in congestion. And next thing you know, you got a break here and a couple of swings to a new low, and then we're reversing back up again. This one doesn't go very far. You get a break. Actually, this is, I think I had it more like this right here. So you're working up. This is too congested, but you get a break here at a new high, and it turns down. And this actually breaks higher and fails and turns back down. I like that one on the engulfing bar. It's a really bullish bar there. If you wait till the bar closes, it doesn't qualify. So you had to take that one on the engulfing bar. And it is a second entry short. Notice the double bottom here. So you get a new count. So there's clearly 2 legs up there. Turns down. Just the first entry. And then we finally test the close down here, and it just chops along. I didn't mark this one really because of all that resistance there. I mean, we've already bounced there multiple times and couldn't get through. So you can't trust that it's going to get through this time. I mean, maybe you can find maybe you can find a triple test in there. I just don't really see it. You need a little more space. I just think it's just congestion. It is a little ways from the EMA. It is right at the close from Friday. So, but I just don't think you can take that. You get a channel working up, close outside, and it turns down. Again, no setup, and the bottom just falls out, and then you're back in the congestion again. Now you do get a triple test here, but it makes each one of them made a slightly lower low, although they all closed inside there. So you might argue that one to be green, but I'm gonna tell you, trying to pick bottoms is what gets most people. I think there's nothing that says this trend is over just yet, so you got to be careful. I mean, we do have a break and a new low in place, but I mean, if we had 3 equal lows there, maybe you take that one as a blue, but as it sits, I'm gonna call it green. And then all of a sudden the bottom falls out, no setup to get it in it short, and then you're just chopping lower again. Now we are still in this original trend. Right here. So that's why I like this one, even though there's a little bit of congestion there. We're in a downtrend, and this khaki channel is still in play, and that's right off the key entry point, and you do have a lower high there. Odds are you'll probably get a scalp out of that, and we're probably going to even push lower, which we do. And then you're just chopping sideways again. Now again, you get a triple test here, but I don't think you want to try to pick a bottom here yet. I just think it's too early. We do get a failed breakout here, and you got a new low right there, so that's a first entry, second entry, and then a lower high. And that one just takes off. I like that one a lot, lower high, and it does take on off. You're just looking to get a scalp out of it and hope it goes lower, but it does go lower. And again, no reason to try to pick a bottom. There's a higher low here, but it's just really congested. A lot of resistance across there. You do get what looks like a reversal here, but it doesn't break higher on this bar, and it's real close to the trend line, so it could turn back down, even if only enough to stop you out before it goes higher. But it does confirm the trend line right there. So there's reasons to take that, just hoping for a scalp maybe. And we did reach our measured move right here. Notice how that congestion's just kind of chopping around that measured move. That's telling you something. You get another higher low here, but I don't think you want to take that. But by the time it gets way up here, yeah, it looks like we're in a pretty strong trend now. Second entry long, right off the key entry point, higher one signal bar. I mean, you can see that this is one of those really strong trends. This has moved just a little bit. It's one of those really strong trends, and you get a second entry long here. It's really at the midline, but on the strong trend, I think you probably got to take that. Then you just get a higher low here, back at the midline, and then finally you get one more off the trend line here. It's a little close to the highs right there, but maybe you still take it. I mean, they all tend to work out when they're like this. That one would have worked out as well. And then we get, of course, we get the close outside and a new high. This one you can, I mean, it's kind of hard to know if it may be right there where I originally had it. I thought it moved on me, but maybe it didn't. I mean, that's not a convincing close outside. So the fact that it's still holding up through here, I think you got to take. And that's probably why I didn't have that one marked, because it is outside, but I still think you can take that. It's a little close to the highs and congested, but you could probably still take it. I'll leave it green. And of course we topped out here. I don't see any shorts I like there. Then we're just kind of chopping sideways. Now by the time you get over here, you do have a triple test. You probably would have moved this down a little bit by that point too. Nice signal bar. This actually breaks lower and fails and turns up. You could go long on the engulfing bar, since that's all colored bar, or you could go long one tick above that. However you wanted to play that one. This is all too congested. You do get a failed breakout here, but this is still in this channel, so I'd wait on the lower high. You don't really get one. We've moved too far here to call this a lower high, but we're back in the trend. It's holding. Nice signal bar. I think you can go short. I made it green because you'd really want to see it tested again just to prove we're respecting the trend channel again. But I tend to like that one. I think you could take that if you want to be a little bit aggressive. It turns out to be a nice move. You're just looking to get a scalp out of it or ride it back to the other side. Maybe only to here, since that's where we've been kind of bouncing. But you got plenty of room there, so I still think that one's okay. Then of course you get your close outside finally here, and notice this thing runs up. This is all a double bottom here, so it moves up and you get a first entry, then it turns back up and fails and turns down. So that gives you a second entry short. You got to wait till that one closes, and it closes bearish. So it's a second entry short, lower high. It does close right below the EMA. I think you're okay there. And then we try a third time, it confirms that trend line. So that's like a triple test there. Another bearish bar. I like going short again. Now by the time we get out here, it just looks like congestion. You're working lower. You can clearly see that trend line, but you can see how flat that EMA is too. I just think it's too risky there. There's actually a second entry short here, but that's an inside bar. And again, it still looks congested. But if you wait a few minutes, you get another second entry here off that key entry point once again. Notice this is a double bottom, so first entry, break below that second entry. There's a hidden second entry here, but it's an inside bar. Runs back just to first entry, and there's no close outside that trend channel yet. But we do get a triple test here, and it's I'm trying to remember if that's actually a first entry, second entry. So you could count that as a second entry, although it doesn't really look like a second entry. So really you're just playing this off the trend line as a kind of a trying to go higher 3 times. It's like a triple test. There's a second entry here, but that's your signal bar. You could use that one, but that one has too much stem. It's right at the lows. First entry. And then by this time, look how many times now we've clearly had a break here, and we've tested this 1, 2, 3. You probably call this 4 to 5 times. And it's just a very, like 5 ticks, very low risk, bullish bar. I like going long there. And this turns out to be a pretty nice little move. There's a second entry here, but that signal bar is not good enough. And it actually comes back. You could call that a high or low, but we've had multiple bars that couldn't get above that midline there. You could probably still argue for that to be green. I didn't mark it. It's late in the day, so I was not crazy about it, but I still think you can argue. When you've tested it that many times, it's probably going to go higher now. When it didn't go higher here, you know, that's your concern, but when it comes back and tests it again, and now you've tested it 1, 2, 3, 4 times, at least 3, and probably could justify that as 4 touches, it's probably going higher. Which it just, like, here's what you usually expect for it to go the other side, and sometimes it'll go higher. So I doubt you would have held on through all this pullback here, but if you did, it went a little higher before it turned down again. But that took us on into 230, so not much going on after that. So quite a few trades. It felt like it was a slow day. It's just because you had to sit from like a little after 9 to after 10, and then you had to sit again till 11:55, and then you had to sit again till 1 o'clock. So it felt like a really slow, with very few trades. But now that I back out and look at it, I mean, there's plenty of trades here today. You just had to be real patient and real disciplined. And it's a shame you don't get really good entries on such a strong rally or such a strong sell-off. You get a couple here, but not like you would hope on a strong sell-off like that or a strong bullish move like that. These you have to learn to recognize them, because what it is, there's such strong trends that the pullbacks are only a bar or so, and you don't get any 2-leg corrections or anything. You just get a slight correction back to the trend line or the midline, and it touches it and takes off again. So you got to watch those. You got to understand. You got to have a good understanding of price action really to trade those, or otherwise you just have to kind of watch them go without you. So, but study those when you get those real tight channels like that with very shallow, if much of a correction at all. I'll zoom in there and show it to you again. But you can see most of your corrections are either sideways or just minor pullbacks to the key entry points. And it needs to make a new low. It has to be a signal bar. So just keep that in mind. But there it is. Anyway, that's how I saw it today. So maybe we'll get another good trend day here in a day or so. But this looks more like a consolidation day. So we'll see where we go from here. But yeah, that's going to do it for today. So I'm going to wrap it up. We'll be back again to do it tomorrow. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.